Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm bringing you another replay sent in by Cruisenick01 Kane. If you remember, he was the guy who sent in the amazing Udaloy replay where he just never needed his torpedoes and devastated the enemy team with his Russian destroyer. This time, he's on the same map, Two Brothers, and he's in the Warspite, the Tier 6 premium British battleship. Now this thing is a monster when played right, though its turrets don't move really fast and it doesn't have a lot of range. It's a really powerful ship, and if nobody has it, next time it's on sale, definitely pick it up. It's one of my favorite low tier battleships to play. It's definitely my go-to tier 6 battleship. It can basically tank anything from the front, but as soon as you show your side or the back of your ship, you're going to take some pretty nasty hits because all of its armor is basically in the front. But going into this, the reason I chose this replay this week is not just because I haven't been playing a lot thanks to playing the Division like a lot of YouTubers, but it's just because of the tactic he chooses to use this game, because it's something you don't usually see. And as you can see by the way he's angling his ship, he's going to take this battleship down the middle. And usually this doesn't work because, you know, destroyers run the channel, they sit at the other end and they just wait for you to come out and be free XP. But sometimes you can get lucky. Now, before we get into this, disclaimer, don't do this. Don't do this unless you're absolutely confident you can win. Which, not entirely sure if Cruisenick was sure if he could win right here, but it turns out quite well and quite hilarious. So, two destroyers coming down the channel, and he's just been spotted by one of them. One's a tier 5 Minekaze, the other one is the tier 6 Japanese DD, the Mutsuki. And his secondaries are going off. The Warspite has very accurate secondaries, and he did let me know that he does not have the tier 5 mod that increases the secondary battery accuracy on this. So this is just stock accuracy with probably a bit of a range boost. But they're very accurate, and they're going to show this DD what Britain's power is. DD's going broadside. He's going to try for a torp run. There's the torpedoes. Oh god. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. Repaired that. He almost got one shot. Takes out the Minekaze with secondaries. Mutsuki, this poor guy, tried to do a torp run, beached himself, gets absolutely wrecked by the Warspite's primaries. And there's a double strike, close quarter expert, first blood, and a devastating strike. So just racking up the accolades here and just farming flags basically. And here comes a Cleveland. Aircraft carrier got off a spread of torpedoes at it. Secondaries are opening up on the Cleveland now. Hit it with them main batteries. Half his health's gone. Secondaries set him on fire. This Warspite is just absolutely wrecking these guys. And as you can see, the slow turret rotation means he's not going to get those rear turrets around anytime soon. So he has to take this guy out with secondaries and the main batteries on the front. Never mind, it was a replay glitch. The rear batteries did turn around. But the secondaries end up taking him out. I forgot that the replays sometimes do that, where the actual turrets on the ship don't turn all the way around. But he did shoot though. He did shoot him with the rear batteries, and then the secondaries finished him off for another close quarter expert award. Now, the next big test area. Usually there's another destroyer waiting right here, especially if they know you're coming through the channel. A lot of the fleet will come back and focus this area. But they haven't seemed to have turned around. They also never went to the west side of the map, which is kind of interesting. They kind of all grouped up and moved east and completely forgot that there was a center of the map, except for those 3 ships that were actually inside of it. He is in range of those carriers. Looks like that Nicholas out there is doing a pretty good job of hammering them to bits, though. There's a New Mexico over there. You definitely don't want to go around the corner broadside to that. He's engaging the Nicholas around the carriers.
Our team has taken the lead.
This Karlsruhe next to us doesn't give a damn, and he's going to get this New Mexico. Go on, little German ship. Smash him to bits. Give him a taste of those, what are they, 6-kilometer German torpedoes? And now the Warspite's batteries can open up. New Mexico's not even looking this way. And these guys are just hammering him. Will the torpedoes connect? It looks like they might. Warspite's rear batteries. A little bit of damage. Nothing major. Not sure if those torpedoes hit. I don't think they had the range. But definitely spooked him. Though, not enough to make him go straighten out away from broadside, which is kind of impressive. New Mexico seems kind of clueless here as the Warspite secondaries and primaries rip him right to part. And here comes the torpedoes. There's one, and the Warspite finishes it off. So that's 3 kills for Kruznik. Now, New York over there. But we've held 3 of the caps, and we've killed almost half their team without much retribution from them. So it looks like this game will be ending pretty soon. Not too much more could happen in the, about 30 seconds it's going to take for the points to cap out. But we're going to take some pot shots at that Karlsruhe. Not a great angle to try to hit that. And I don't think it's going to land. Nope. And anything else to shoot at? Not really. New York's not going to come around that island. And the Karlsruhe just got slaughtered with torpedoes. So, very non-typical tactic on this map. Usually the battleships don't go straight up the center, and usually they don't get really good results. But, you know, if the enemy DDs decide to beach themselves or miss enough torpedoes, or of course drive right into your secondaries, well, maybe it'll work. Not saying you should do this in every game. I really don't like people when they do this unless I know they're gonna win or I know they can actually get up the channel without finding a destroyer. But sometimes it works. I'll give them that. And this was a good example of it. I've shown it in other replays that it does work at some points, but usually about 80% of the time it won't. Either way, that's a really impressive show of how well the Warspite secondaries batteries work. Secondaries batteries. But yeah. Usually I don't get that close to let my secondaries engage, which it's really cool to see these secondaries just go to work, and it makes me want to fit out a few battleships just to see how powerful I can make their secondaries. Get close in, brawl with another battleship, nuke a few destroyers from, well, if I'm in my Yamato, 11 kilometers away. But yeah, really good show from Kruznik with the secondaries on his Warspite. And of course, going into the post-battle results screen, he earned 300,000 credits, which is fairly typical for a Warspite. It's a really good credit earner. It's almost 6,000 experience and almost 1,000 free XP. Both will help for other researches that he might want to do. A double strike award for nuking both those destroyers in quick succession. 2 close quarters awards, which is something I don't usually get because I don't brawl. A first blood and a devastating strike. he only hit the enemy ships 23 times with his main batteries, but I'm pretty sure his secondaries hit a lot more. And I'd be definitely interested to see that when it comes to the last page. 4 ships destroyed, he was 1 away from a Kraken, 6 fires set from both his secondaries and probably 1 or 2 from his main batteries, and just absolutely wrecked the enemy ships in that channel. And going into the team results screen, he actually came out on top for only killing those basically 2 destroyers, and well, I guess he did kill a lot of that Cleveland too, but it's really surprising that the ships around the sides didn't get more damage than him. But I guess when you rush the channel and kill 4 ships and then just absolutely decimate a broadside New Mexico, you get a lot of damage. And he ended up on top of his team, which is really cool to see for a battleship going up the channel on 2 brothers. And it's something you don't usually see, because usually if they do go up the channel, they end up dead, even if they take another ship down with it. And finally, going into the last screen, it just I was just impressed when I got to this. He did almost as much damage with his secondary batteries as he did with his primaries, mostly because it was close range, but it's also 32,000 damage that he did with his secondaries, and you don't see that often. I've seen Yamatos do it, but I've never seen a low tier ship actually do that much with their secondaries. I've also never seen my Turpets do that much, though usually I kind of torp the ships before my secondaries can really get into the action. But he did around 70,000 damage this game, and he just decimated those guys with his secondaries. And he hit 100 secondary shells, which is a lot more than his main batteries, almost 5 times the number of hits that he got with his main batteries. But you also have to consider that's out of the 300 that his secondaries actually fired. So if you imagine this with the secondary batter, or the manual secondary battery fire modification, it would probably increase that to about 200 hits. So a lot of his damage would have switched to secondary damage rather than primary, which is still really impressive. So, sorry for the short replay this week, and it's just because his team won so swiftly and this was such a neat replay that I had to show it. So really good job to them. They really controlled that game, and they really lucked out when they were running the channel and just decimating the enemy ships in it. But I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you next time, and I hope you all have a great day.